I remember those seats. Be careful. I remember that the armrests fall off sometimes. So if that's your chair, be careful. Don't lean over too much. But I hope I don't bore you. I hope you don't need to sleep on your chair today. I said I am an alum of the school. Graduated in 2008. Seems like an eon ago. It also seems like just yesterday. And I cannot speak highly enough about my time at Andrews Osborne. I was actually the first class to graduate underneath the name Andrews Osborne Academy. I have to almost thank the school because I'm youngest of 5. My 3 sisters went here. I have a strong sibling rivalry, and I can say my diploma is something different than theirs, which I love. So it's really great. So I like to I'm a teacher by nature. My degree is in middle school education. My usual audience is actually 5 years old, so bear with me. But I like to get your body moving, so if you could all just stand up where you are.
All of my report cards would say, Kelsey does not talk. But I was trying out for the play. Was I fearful? Absolutely. But why not? Why not try? The worst thing that was going to happen, I would have gotten a no. Yes, I would have been sad because I said, yes, let's. Let's give something new a try. So that is just one example of a way that saying yes could change your whole life. Now, as we all know, saying yes is one thing, but what if you say yes and you fail? Raise your hand if you like to fail. A few hands, yes, but most people are like, no, I hate to fail. It's embarrassing. I don't like to be judged. I don't like to say I can't do stuff. Guess what? Nobody's perfect. Nobody can do everything. There is beauty in failure. Failure is where you learn. All of my favorite employees, so as I said earlier, I sometimes have imposter syndrome. I became director at 27. I was managing a staff at 27. And my favorite employees, my favorite ones, are my high school interns. And my high school interns are my favorite employees because for whatever reason, whether it be because if they know it's internships, they know it's learning experience, whether it be because they're just young and energetic, they are the ones who are always saying yes. They are the ones who are always trying things. They are the ones who, maybe I give them a project and they come back and say like, well, if I really messed up, what should I do now? But because they're so eager to say yes, because they're so eager to learn, they end up being my standout employees. I have an intern right now. She started this summer at 15, summer internship. She just got hired this past weekend to be full-time weekend staff. She is making the same pay as her 28-year-old coworkers because she said yes and she stepped up and she is a standout employee. And it's not because she's perfect. She makes mistakes. We all make mistakes. It's because she tries things. When she makes a mistake, she goes back and she says, hey, I made a mistake. How can we fix this? So at the beginning of this, we said, yes, let's. We all jumped in. We all tried something together. There's another component to that. It's the second component. You know now I have a theater background, and that's the yes and. So yes, I tried something. Yes, we did it. We did it together. And I failed. What do I do next? Or I succeeded. What do I do next? And also, yes and is sometimes throwing the whole plan out the window. We are living through a global pandemic. We are great at throwing the whole plan out the window. But it's that willingness to try. A personal story from my work is March 2020. I'm sure you can all picture where you were, March 2020. I started hearing little snippets about this pandemic, this coronavirus, what's going to happen. At the time, I was like, where is this going to go? Are things going to close? I started pulling my employees aside. I started asking them, hey, no, don't worry, don't panic. If by chance the museum was going to close, what are you doing Saturday? And I asked all my employees, what are we doing Saturday? What are we doing Saturday? Can we meet back at the museum? And they all said, yes, let's meet back at the museum. Friday, the museum closed, as did most of the museums, the schools, the world. Saturday morning, we met at the museum. We filmed 80 online programs. Monday morning, we were the first museum to launch virtual programs. And it's all because a team of us came together and said, yes, let's. We had never filmed a virtual program. We had basically our iPhones. We built an iPhone holder out of Legos. That was our equipment. We didn't even have a tripod. We used some Legos in the building. We built a phone dock. We all said, yes, let's. What can we do together? And, it's 2022 now. We've been filming programs for 2 years. I look back on that first video for March 2020. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Has our video production quality gotten much better? Absolutely. It's kind of like when you watch a home video of yourself as a child and you're like, oh, don't show this to anybody, Mom and Dad. That's kind of how I feel with my early videos, but I'm also enormously proud of my team. That I had a team that said, in the face of a pandemic, in the face of the unknown, said, yes, let's. How can we come together? How can we do this? So, a quote by this, Gabriel Garcia Marquez, I'm an Andrews Osborne student, we're very well read, and he said, tell him yes, even if you're dying of fear, even if you will be sorry later, because whatever you do, you'll be sorry all the rest of your life if you say no. Again, harping on that, why not try? Yes, it's scary. It
example that happened to me at Andrews. So I started Andrews in 6th grade, back when you only started in 6th grade and go to lower school. And there were 10 kids in my class. 10 of us, it was all girls still, so 10 girls, just getting to know each other. You know, school starts late August, new campus, new school. And then it was September 11th, 2001. And I think we all know what happened on September 11th. And our teachers could have, okay, like girls, national tragedy, but like, let's get back to class. Like, we gotta get you guys ready for the state test. But no. Thankfully, I went to Andrews Osborne. Our teachers are wonderful. And it would start with our art teacher, start with our class. We had this crazy idea. My art teacher made a drawing. My class got together. We printed that drawing on t-shirts. We started selling t-shirts. I think for half of my 6th grade year, my class and I were a production company that sold t-shirts in the dining hall and raised a lot of money to help those affected by 9/11. And again, our teachers, our class, we could have been like, we're just brand new 6th graders. We don't even know where our locker combinations are yet. Like, we need to be focusing on other stuff. But they wiped the curriculum away and they were like, nope, this is more important. Sometimes your plan needs to go out the window and you need to say yes to something else. You need to try new things, and again, you might have been fearful, you might have been scared. I'm sure our teachers were scared that we wouldn't be able to solve math equations if we skipped math class full of t-shirts. We can, I promise. But the power of saying yes, and then the unique power in the Andrews Osborne community in letting you say yes to things. I talk to my peers, I talk to my colleagues, and when they hear stories of my high school, they're like, where did you go, Hogwarts? Because they can't believe the opportunities you get and the allowances you get. Again, for example, I was in theater. Lacrosse was canceled the one year. Guess what? Next year, lacrosse was not canceled. How can I still do theater and lacrosse? Our directors, our coaches, they work together that all of us who were in the play were also varsity athletes. They changed the entire play schedule to accommodate us so we could do more. Like, that does not happen at most places. You would have to pick. So, I guess what I'm leaving you with today is say yes. Lean into things, especially now. I know it's hard. You're at the age where I remember it well, like, you didn't want to be judged. Your biggest fear is being judged by others. Again, the worst thing that can happen, they say no. Maybe there's a TikTok video, maybe there's an Insta that's embarrassing, but guess what? You can do so much more with your success. And if you say yes, if you try new things now, when you get to be my age, the ripe old age of 31, you will be very glad that you had this safe place to try things, this safe place to say yes to everything, because it will give you the confidence to go from that really quiet kid, like I was, to a person standing up in front of you speaking now, a person who was a director by 27, a person who practically runs a company with only one person ahead of her. I get to make my daily decisions, I get to own my life, and it's all because I started by saying,